What's up, veterans, military members, transitioning service members? Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Off the Battlefield podcast presented by Veterans Claim Servants. Today, we're going to be getting right into it and talking about secondary service connection without a Nexus letter, okay? We're going to talk about it. Can it be done? Yay or nay? We're going to find out in this video. Thank you for tuning in. Like, subscribe, comment, hit that notification bell. Share this out with someone that can use this information. You matter. Keep fighting. And I am a veteran serving veterans. We hope this video helps you out. So, can you prove secondary service connection without a Nexus letter? It is entirely possible. Okay. However, I'm going to let you know what I recommend, okay, in this video, but it is entirely possible, but it all depends on certain things, okay? So, not all secondary claims are created equal. That's the first thing that you need to understand. Some are much easier to win than others, okay? But it really depends on, I call it the big three: current diagnosis, a medical link or a nexus between your primary service connected condition, whatever that is. Let's call it tinnitus, and let's call it migraines, the new secondary condition. How does tinnitus impact your migraines? Okay. What's the correlation? And number three, evidence to back up your claim. Okay. The more evidence, the better. I will tell you this: if you can get a Nexus letter and the more evidence you bring, it's not going to hurt you. It's only going to help you. Okay. So the most evidence that you can bring, do it. So I recommend that you secure a formal diagnosis for whatever you're going for. Chronic fatigue, migraines, headaches, back, knees, neck, shoulders. Have an up to date diagnosis. If you are in the service and you got hurt 10 years ago and it's 10 years later, get seen for it. Get up to date medical care. Get an up to date diagnosis. It behooves you to do so. It's going to be better for you, and it's only going to help you. It's not going to hurt you. You have to remember the VA's rating on how you are impacted now, occupationally and socially, right? But I recommend you secure a formal diagnosis of whatever the new secondary condition is that you're filing for that is not already service connected. Okay. This should trigger the VA to schedule a compensation and pension exam just because you have the diagnosis alone, where the examiner will assess your condition and provide a medical opinion regarding secondary service connection. So they will fill out a disability benefits questionnaire and they will determine, is this secondary or not? Okay. So let's talk a little bit about this. Let's get right into it. Secondary service connection without a Nexus letter is possible. It's not completely impossible. What you need to prove secondary service connection, the easiest secondary claims to win without a Nexus letter. And I want to give you some very important tips. Okay. So, what is secondary service connection? According to 38 CFR 3.310, secondary service condition is any disability that is proximately due to, cause, or aggravated by, you must be already rated, an already service connected condition that you are rated for, my friends. This means that if your existing VA rated disability contributes to another condition that is an already service connected, you may be eligible for additional compensation and benefits. So, mental health, is that impacted by pain? Is that impacted by your back, knees, neck, shoulders, arthritis, headaches? I don't know. Heart issue, is it impacted by that? If it is, then you could qualify for service connection secondary to whatever your primary conditions are, but they must be service connected. So let's say a veteran is service connected for a knee injury, right? Over the time, the knee injury might cause the veteran to develop radiculopathy, okay, which is pinching of inert groove in the spinal column leading down to a sharp radiating pain, or an issue from the knees and it's sharp shooting flashes down your leg. In this example, radiculopathy could be secondary to that knee, or a lot of times to that back. Okay, let's call it a back condition. That pain shoots down, sharp shooting pain that shoots down through left, right leg, radiates down to the tip of the toes. Radiculopathy could be secondary to it. The VA just wants clear medical evidence that links the new secondary condition to the primary service connected disability. That's why I recommend a Nexus letter. Recommend and provide medical and scientific literature proving how back impacts radiculopathy, or knees impact radiculopathy, pain impacts radiculopathy. Get that correlation. Bring as much evidence as you can, because you got to remember, every rater is different, every RVSR is different, every examiner, CMP examiner is different as well. So a big tip: If you're filing for secondary service connection, yeah, it is possible without a Nexus letter, but I recommend absolutely get a Nexus letter. Why? Because it's going to put you in the best position. You're going to be bringing all the ammo to the firefight, and your chances are a lot better of getting it service connected. Okay. It is evidence, it is medical and scientific literature proving that your new disability is proximately due to or aggravated by a current service connected disability. And remember, you can't diagnose yourself. You need a doctor and a medical professional unbiasedly or that you're seeing to diagnose that. Okay. And they need to say, hey, it's highly likely, in fact, more likely than not, proximately due to or aggravated by condition X. Okay. So, how to establish secondary service connection without a Nexus letter? You need a current medical diagnosis, existing service connected disability. You need to be rated for now. Medical evidence linking the two conditions. So again, it goes back. I highly recommend a Nexus letter. However, you do need to compile medical records, treatment histories, and any relevant studies that demonstrate a connection between your primary and secondary conditions. However, I know veterans that have provided medical literature and the VA still hasn't given it to them. However, you have a better chance in the fight if you do come with a Nexus letter from someone other than yourself. Okay. Now, evidence is evident. Relevant studies are relevant studies. Bring that with you. That's fine. However, I just know 100% that you stand a better chance of getting something secondary service connected with a Nexus letter. Okay. Your personal statements are very important. Observations from family members are important. Just don't exaggerate or overplay everything. Okay. That's very important. And with a current diagnosis of a new secondary condition, make sure you bring that to the fight when you're submitting your claim. Some evidence linking it to a primary service connected disability. The VA should order at least a compensation and pension exam. But remember, who does the CMP examiner work for? I talk about it all the time. The VA. Okay. They don't work for you. They're paid by the VA, contracted by the VA to provide opinion, and they don't always get it right. There's a lot of changing of the guard with CMP examiners. Not all of them are educated. Some are better than others. Okay. Keep that in mind. Some of the top 5 secondary claims to get approved without a Nexus letter: headaches secondary to mental health conditions, chronic stress, anxiety, depression are known to contribute to tension headaches and migraines. Headaches secondary to tinnitus. Tinnitus characterized by ringing in the ears can lead to significant discomfort and stress. Sleep apnea secondary to rhinitis. Radiculopathy secondary to back conditions. Sinusitis secondary to rhinitis. Chronic rhinitis can lead to sinus blockages and infections, resulting in sinusitis. So if you're service connected for rhinitis and develop sinusitis, your medical records detailing this progression can establish this secondary service connection. However, with all that, if it's me, I'm coming with a DBQ, Nexus, and absolutely a diagnosis. I want to prove how this condition can cause this condition. So headaches secondary to mental health conditions can be impacted. I want proof, not by me, but by a board certified psychologist or psychiatrist or a doctor or a neurologist or an MD. I want that. Okay. Headaches secondary to tinnitus. I want that stuff documented. For me, not a betting man, but I'm coming and my cards, I'm bringing DBQ, Nexus diagnosis, and me. If there's proof I can bring, up to date diagnosis and medical research outside of just my own opinion and how I feel, I'm going to do that, as well as I'm going to provide a personal statement. Just remember, don't say that you can't do things if you can do them. Okay. Don't have family members just thinking, oh, my wife is going to give this to me, and that you got to make it the worst day ever in your entire life, and stuff is just way blown out of proportion. Just be honest, be upfront, and let them know. At my worst, I feel like this. Okay. No, this is not every day, but out of a 30-day period, 5 days out of the month, I'm getting my headaches. I'm getting them, and they're debilitating. And at work, I've had to miss work. Keep a log of things. Okay. So, strategies to win your secondary VA claim: always medical evidence, documentation, continuation of care, treatment over time, something a lot of veterans forget about. They get a claim, they think they're 100% P&T, or they get something and they just stop getting care. They get it when they get out of service 10 years later. Hey, have you gotten any care? Nope, I've not gotten any care. Wrong. You got to get regular consultations and treatments for both primary and secondary conditions. It strengthens your claim. Medical research studies are important, and not just from yourself, but from the VA is very, very, very important that you come with an outside medical opinion to get that done, because the VA is not always going to be on your side, but a private doctor outside of the VA is very, very helpful. You can always also use PubMed, which is in the description of this video, to search and find medical research studies supporting a connection between two medical conditions. There's BVA examples, personal statements, supportive lay evidence, disability benefits questionnaires, and a Nexus letter for secondary condition is a professional independent medical opinion that links your new secondary service connection to your primary service connected disability rated at 0% or more, backed by medical and scientific literature. If you need a Nexus letter, Dr. Lopez, quality Nexus letters, Dr. Patel, Dr. Sharma, highly recommend them. They are in the link in the description of this video. You can utilize them. Check them out, okay? Some pitfalls to avoid, right, is no medical diagnosis, not enough medical evidence, dismissing the C&P exam. If you downplay symptoms or don't explain how the conditions are connected, or at your worst, you might receive an unfavorable VA medical opinion. Just letting you know. So it is highly possible to prove secondary service connection without a Nexus letter. However, I do not recommend that personally. Get a Nexus letter, get a DBQ, and always, 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 if you aren't even coming with a Nexus letter anyways, at least provide a diagnosis, at least have that condition formally diagnosed. You can't just be saying you got it. Go get seen by a doctor and make sure that you keep taking care of yourself and getting the care that you need. I thank you guys for tuning into this episode. I hope this helps you. PubMed will be in here. If you need a Nexus letter or anything like that, it's in the description of this video. Share this out with someone that can use this information. Like, subscribe, comment, hit that notification bell. And thank you for your service to our country. Thank you for spending a little bit of time with me today, and stay in the fight. Peace.